Welcome everyone, this is Jacqueline Jax and you're looking at one of the projects from the Botanical Watercolor Palette. I'm going to be painting this for you today. In the previous lessons I gave you some swatching recommendations as well as another really beautiful transparent lesson. So if you want to go back and check out those transparency videos, then by all means do go and do those. We're going to be doing this today. Let me just clean up here because I just finished a live stream for our private group. I don't know if you're interested, but for just around $10 a month, you can be part of the private live streaming group. And there we do daily videos, instructional videos, so that you can just get even more from me. So we sit down, have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, and just paint. And this is what we painted tonight, which was really fun. And then yeah, we did some of these last time. We've done like some really beautiful, let's see, we did this one last time, this one, and let's see, this was another one just recently. So every day we're just painting like crazy and having a good time. It's kind of fun because you get daily inspiration. So if you'd like to be part of it, you are welcome to come over and do that. I will be closing the group when we get to a certain amount of people, but for right now we have room because we just started. All right, so let me grab a piece of paper here. I did this on the scratch paper that I sent in the subscription for the fall florals. So pretty, right? Really, really pretty. Simple, very simple. And this is done with the Botanical custom brush that I did. But if you are just getting started with the subscriptions and you have this wash brush, you can also do it with this. It's just fine. So either will work. You just need a nice round brush that's like a juicy round brush. Okay, so let's grab our color. Looking for my red. So starting with my red here. I'm just gonna put a bunch over here for me to use. So I'm just going to be starting in the center line and striking out with a light to medium weight of color, and that can be anything that you feel like. So we're going to just kind of drag and just like that, and we're going to do another one. So here, and right now I'm just getting the big shapes, and we want really uneven shapes, you know what I mean? So I'm working right off the paper, and that's what I love about this brush. This brush is great for that. I'm not trying for a particular level of like weight of sorry, I was just like focusing on how, just trying to think of how large I wanted to go here. But I'm not focused on a particular weight of the watercolor right now, other than it is light to medium strength. And I find that it's just kind of really easy if I just flip my page around. Just gives me a better angle. And then I'll just put a big one right here. So very simple to do with this brush because it just distributes the paint so really in just a very unique way, and it gives you a lot of light. It leaves a lot of light within the paint. Okay, so I got a couple of things on here that I'm going to be dealing with for you that will probably come up. Just to uneven the texture a little bit for speed, I'm just going to hit this with my paper towel, just to quick dry it and just give it a little more texture. And I'll show you why. So taking more of the color, I'm going to be working from the center. This brush is also great for this specific thing. It just gives you such a really cool lay down for centers that are really unique and uneven. Just, I mean, could you do any better than that as far as loose watercolor? Then striking out, I am going to give it like a medium weight, I think. And then we're just going to do one at first. And I'm just going to strike it out like that just to see what the color is. So that's a little dark. So just dip it in some water and try again. There we go. I like that. So now if this one's a little dark, I know it'll dry just fine, but I'm just going to tap it out. So following the petal like curves, if I do them straight, then what happens is the petal shape looks odd. It looks like we're looking at it in a very weird angle. So I'm adding the lines, but then I'm also deleting some just so that it's not perfect. I don't want one straight line like this coming from start to finish. The easiest way to do it is just to put the lines in and then randomly delete them. It's just so much faster. Leaving some in, keeping some out. And I just keep either going over or adding them until I just get to an idea of how how it looks good to me. This one is a leaf that I want to reflect that's underneath the other one, so I'm just going to bring it up to here and then reinforce some very, very lightly. Some shape there so that we just kind of know. If you know, you know. Pulling some of this color right out of the center and then deleting it in just certain areas. Again, pulling it out of the center and letting your hand be shaky. This is an excuse to be shaky. If your hand's shaky, what are we worried about? This is the style for you for sure, right? Because shaky is best. So just as simple as that. Just kind of random, striking in, striking out, and just relaxing as you go. And you'll just kind of see your petals in a much different perspective this way. All of a sudden, they'll start to take like more round shapes. Isn't that just great? Now while my watercolor is wet, I'm actually just using the very tip of my brush to get these really wistful little uneven lines. Just feathering that right out. Oof, I just love it. And they're not all going to be the same weight. I encourage you to not have things be the same weight. So lovely. Yeah, I can't impress enough how if you can make it like just have random different little line weights like dark, light, it's so much nicer. It really just turns out just so romantic and elegant and beautiful. I find that gives the eye a lot more to look at when I'm painting than if it was just one flat, even color. So you don't want to tell the whole story in one glance. In other words, you want people to look into it and say, oh, which way is that flower going? That's just beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear some space and start working with the greens. So what greens are we going to use? Oh, we have so many greens, so many. I've been mixing greens like crazy. So to make the green using the palette that I sent you, we are going to, oh, this is the Malachite palette, right? Botanical Watercolor Malachite palette. The Fall Floral palette is where this came from. So, hello, I have the wrong one. There we go. Sorry if I confused you. So the hematite was what we were painting with, and the azo yellow and the bold and blue make a delicious green if you haven't tried it yet. It really does. If you also mix in some Payne's Gray, that also makes a delicious yellow. Now you can go ahead and mix the yellow or the green. Oh my gosh, losing my mind. Just like that. And just start adding it in. And a little more blue. Now some of your leaves can go over. So all I'm doing, if you look here, is I'm just pulling and pushing. So easy with this brush, pulling and pushing. Do other brushes paint the same way? Not really. This one is a very specific brush that I use constantly for this reason, because it's just so easy to make gorgeous leaves. People are always asking me, you know, how do you make your leaves? And I'm like, well, it's a brush, really. You know, I've learned to use it, but at the same time, it's the brush that makes it work quick and easy for me. Otherwise, I would have to sit here and hand shape all of these, which I don't mind doing. You can easily do that if you don't have it, you know, but it just makes it so much easier. I mean, look how quickly I'm laying in this with a handmade brush, you know. Once again, if you don't have this brush and you don't know where to get it, and you're watching this video and you're not a subscriber, then just go to jackswatercolor.com and look for the botanical brush. It comes in size 8 and size 10, and they're handmade. Isn't that pretty? So for this one, I made it a little bit different than the first one. I made a less blue green, more sappy green. And last time I made more blue green by adding some Payne's Gray. So I thought I would just do like 2 varieties. And this one I did a little bit lighter and not as pushed on the color. Both of them are really cool. You know, 2 completely different looks, but all good, right? Like so pretty. Let me give you a little close-up. So this one has a lot of light in it, still drying. This one, the leaves are a lot more pressed together, like the petals are a lot more overlapping, which is also very cool to do. On this one, you have to wait for each petal to dry before you overlap, or just go back in and add some of the lines, like just a couple, like this line here, one line here, you know, just every so often, just so you can give that appearance of one popping forward. Like here, a little bit of a rake of it. And also you can go back and add even more color to something like this too. Depends on your style and what you like. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this month's watercolor subscription, this transparent Fall Florals watercolor palette. Sorry about the botanical palette I showed you in the beginning. That was last month's, but also a very, very fun palette. If you haven't received any of them and you're interested in them, you can always ask me if I have any extras on hand. Occasionally I do. If I have any leftover paint, I will let you know. All right, go and sign up if you haven't. These are delivered direct to your doorstep every single month. And you can paint along with us, along with brushes and papers and all kinds of things for you to try. Not to mention a full community of 100,000 people strong. All artists, all new, enjoying watercolor and meeting new friends. Have a great one, you guys, and thank you so much for joining me.